Let me be very clear. I'll never give up. Never.
Lose! I don't lose! I win!
I built this shit! Me! Brick by brick!
We did not come this far to just break down and lose now. I'm a winner. I'm going to win.
Madam President, the slave trade must be recognized as the greatest crime against humanity. As the African champion on reparations, Ghana intends to introduce a motion in this August body to that effect. More than 12.5 million Africans were forcibly taken against their will and transported to create wealth for the powerful Western nations. We must demand reparations for the enslavement of our people and the colonization of our land that resulted in the theft of our natural resources, as well as the looting of artifacts and other items of cultural heritage that have yet to be returned in total. We recognize the value of our land and the value of our lives, as did our colonizers.
Peace, peace. The Tepu, all around Bacon, Lafayette, to all melanated folks, all across the globe. Up here, it's transparent features and edifices of a people of ancient times and then present times. Up here, this will be like prehistoric ancient Libya. The other end will be present day Libya, and where we could talk about the Fulani tribes people here. That's part of our discussion with what's going on with this coming to Nigeria. So this here is Representative Ayanna Pressley. She's a Democrat in the president caucus out of Massachusetts. She's also the, as you can see, the author to what you would call this HR 40 bill that was supposed to be presented to those people who they keep on rejecting. So back to this Nigeria thing, these people keep on getting hallucinating about. So let's get down to the nitty gritty, my peoples. All right. So as this discussion keeps on getting thicker and thicker with this regime that's keep on going berserk with their subjugations and stuff like that, allow me to keep on discussing this issue about our connectivity to one another. Okay, like I said, a tepu, respects and honors to all melanated folks across the globe. Particularly, this issue is to the melanated folks on these sides of shores and the Afro-Kano side of the shores. And we're going to the topic of about what you see here, treaties. Okay? This is from an excerpt from the HR 40 bill here, which is supposed to be represented to this Congress that's in office right now that wasn't trying to go into this deep. So we got to get real clear about this American and the African thing and why it's so much of a silly argument. They're we're in competition or in kind of confliction to a oppressor that really wants that argument to keep on progressing. Okay, the bottom line is there is a unit connection all the way around with the American and the African prior to colonialization. Okay, and if it didn't, here's the time to get this in place with how we're talking about here in these treaties here. Okay, beside these treaties. Okay, United States Committee provides that the president shall have the power by and the device to consent and Senate to make treaties. Treaties are binding agreements between nations and become part of the international law. Treaty documents are referred to the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations. All right, we are talking about foreign relations, according to these people, because they operate in the under God we trust, so-called bureaucracy. Okay, we'll give you that. Okay, we have to give them that in order to sustain this legal issue that we don't pertain to this in God we trust, because truth be told, none of these people that was on these shores had that adherence. Okay, and I talked about this in my previous video when I tried to say that there's no written documentation of these people in that kind of context. This is different people with a different set of what they believe in that God doctrine. Okay, so this is where it gets kind of overbroad when we keep on bringing issue about if you're American, if you're African, and why you have an issue with Pan-African, and why the Pan-African need to really bring in the American issue to really show Pan-Africanness. To be honest, you need to show the Pan-Africanness, because truth be told, if that continent was the birthplace of the human being, so down the line you had sequences of migrations of these human beings that went to other land masses and developed to other type of species. To be quite honest, the Americas is one of the closest to the those events happening originally. One of the last sequences. As you can see all the different groups that you see now. When you go further out Middle East, it gets different. You see the Dravidian people there. Okay, then you go further out to the Philippines and to the east, you see those type of people. And then you go to Peninsula, which that's what it is, the European Peninsula. You see those type of people. Those were all different eventual happenings of this African coming out of there. That's the bottom line. So that's the connection. That connection still was in process, to be quite honest. So you all know about the Mansa Musa story and his brother and stuff like that. Some say a lot of Pan-Africanists, we don't have the exact proof of that, such and such. But the thing is, it may not be in evidence because of our access to really to get to this information. We archaeological and advancements and stuff like that. But let's put that to speculation, which there was already studied by the great elder Dr. Great Ivan Van Sant Terminal. Put that in display, and some of it is disputable. So this is why the argument with us back and forth is really null and void. There's no way that you can prove that you are different than each other. None. Okay? And then on top of that, you have the same oppressor that did the same exact thing to your people. Toppled your people in bondage and then put a corpus type of belief system that involved an commerce system, economic system, and governance system over you. So this is why we got to nip this in the bud. And let's get down to the treaties, because that's how we have to deal with this and present this. So I'm with this wholeheartedly. Been following this, trying to get this. This is a subject that I just locked in on it, and I just definitely feel that we overlooking at the fact that we don't really share the religious doctrine with these people. And that doctrine, if you look on the back of the dollar notes, and speaking of dollar notes, let me just bring this up right here because I see this subject all the time passing through. And, you know, truth be told, be quite honest, you know, the besides Ethiopia being the first independent African independent state, black independent state, or Haiti, I gotta figure that out which one is first. But we have here up here Liberia, and it was during the around emancipation time, and a lot of people get this confused here, but it shows a lot of history. There's some speculation that this gentleman here was on the U.S. regime's printed monetary notes that was printed out, I believe, under the $2. But they're trying to say that he was like a representative of the United States. No, he actually wasn't. He was actually a representative to the United States to Liberia, folks, which is liberty, which is one of the first, you know, free nations that we had over here. Okay. Then we have over here the real John Hanson that y'all really keep on forgetting, but he's also some disputes that he's from a mixed background too as well. Okay, but you know, we can dwell into this subject a lot, man. This subject with this African American thing is so, no, it's so much expounded that where we can get into it and we lose track of what we can actually get out that subject because we don't, our lack of our history of one another's. So I want to get as much into this subject. I know this is a pretty much long clip here, but you know, it's just that deep here, and I can't get my Umar Gaddafi picture. And a lot of Pan-Africanists, I know what you're gonna say about the Arabic folk, you know. And right now, reason why I want to go really hard on this because this thing is a very worldwide issue with this religious thing. Okay, there's an issue going on over there way on the eastern side of shores with a country called Sudan. Sudan is in a very much of a turmoil, but was one of the is one of the birthplaces of this whole subject when you're even talking about this old God doctrine, because this is where the thing developed at, out of Sudan. Sudan is called that by the Arabi folk for black land. Sudan for the black land that was once called Nubia or Kanet. Nubia out of the term Nub for the Kemetiu or Egyptian term gold, because these people have a lot of gold there. Not only that, they have a lot of history, monumental history, earth-shattering people's history, including this story about this God doctrine that they keep on buffooning about and having people being subjugated in their own land masses and extracting their resources and leaving them for nothing. As you see here on a broad scale, wherever you see this doctrine at, with these people at, that's where it's happening. And I keep on moving my subject towards these sides of shores. I keep saying that these sides of shores has to deal with that God doctrine. And we got to deal with it nowadays in the way that we got to probably be intellectual about it, to be quite honest. Because we're not going to go fist for fist like as we did back in the day with our Nat Turner, Nana Yah, all praises due. You know, much honest. Let's pour a little libation out right now. What you pay? Oliver Bacone. What you pay? Nana Yah. Not Turner. Something these people with their God doctrine owe for their misuse of that doctrine to these people. Do you understand how deep that is? Why that God doctrine is important for them to recognize that is the heinous act that they use to put on our people, and we have a right to this legally use that as a lawsuit, because that's like, you are using some type of material to manipulate people, and we have to ban that. Or you could be subjugated to that in your own district, because like I said, religion is the region where you rely on your spiritual source. They have the European Peninsula. You can get all the God you want, because I know you can see by the Greek studies and Herodotus and Plato and all these people, they said they came to this part of the landmass and got that history. Now, so-called Zeus turned into Jesus and God and all that, and you use that for other people around the globe. And this is where you get the story of this people in the Oscan Empire that was conquered, and they had to rewrite their clansmen, and they put in the Yisa people under the Yisa, which is another name for Amen. Why you keep on getting these people mixed up, and that's really the Kemetu you're talking about. Talking about they was revolting and had a Red Sea and disappeared and they drowned. No, you came in there, the Red Sea was that blood that you came in there and massacred these people and put them to the stakes on the burning crosses. The whole people, the whole set of, just imagine when Alexandria was burnt, what they was doing to the people to convert them to Christianity. Yes, Ethiopia was the first Christian nation because they was the first one converted to Christianity, colonized. So we have to get that God doctrine straight. That's where we get that real reparate and theses where we can claim our ethnicity real right, because when we get down to the originality of where they came in and they took the Yisa doctrine and changed it to something else, but we was really talking about the great Amen, Asa, which is representing a darkness of great elevation. Dark, great elevation, that's what black people is. That's what the study is of Asa Amen. And we had that in Sudan, Kanit, ancient Nubia. I don't even want, we don't have to keep on talking about Egypt. Just talk Nubia. Let's talk it. They right now massacring that place, and we're here debating about African American. No, it's all tight. If you really want to be quite honest, okay, we are all tight. It's just that different emigrations happen, okay, and during those emigrations, the cell, like I said, developed to a certain type of series. Okay, that's the difference to our people. But as you can see, the original American that you see had a very close type of culture that resembles what you see on the continent of Africa. And if we could really get this treaties together, we can build our treaties to original clans people of this landmass, as well as a original clans people of the Afro-American landmass with their original format of their God doctrines and religious doctrines. Because when you think about it on that type of scale and get to cosmic energies, that's very helpful in nation building. Peace. A tap.